clearly not everybody was wiped out. And if you go to a football game, I don't know what happens in America, but in our rugby game, and I'm sitting behind a crowd, and there's a big chap sitting there, kill them, wipe the whole lot of them out. It's an exaggerated form. You guys had better win. And in the big conference that was convened to discuss this, with people like Nicholas Wolterstorff and so on, they said if you look at the chapters where those phrases occur, wipe them out, they're all identical and appear repeatedly. And one of the views that has come up is they're essentially formulaic, and they're there because Deuteronomy isn't ashamed of them, because actually the rules of war were not violated. They're simply a heightened way of saying you gain a victory, but on the conditions that are spelled out. So that's one possible step to begin to understand it. But there's another. You see, the fact is that while we've been talking, thousands of people have perished and died. Now, God doesn't stand distant from that. And there's elements of judgment involved in it. And therefore it seems to me we're never going to get a satisfactory, simplistic solution of it. Because it raises the deep question, has God got the right to take life? And can we expect unlimited life? Now, as a Christian believer, I believe in the resurrection. And therefore, if we say, look, innocent children perished in all of this. Well, innocent children have perished since the beginning of our conference, thousands of them. And that's the huge moral problem. And I want to be able to say, when eventually God sorts things out, He's not going to be ashamed of His judgment in the case of those people that perished innocently. I can prove that to you. But I suspect one of the images that I finish with this that is very interesting to me, because I'm fascinated by the way in which message theologically can be conveyed by imagery. The angels in the book of Revelation that hold the vials of the wrath of God are spectacularly beautiful. And putting that idea together, judgment is beautiful. God's judgment. Our judgment usually is not. You watch a person who's judging and they're angry and their face shows it, they are not beautiful. But we've got to have a concept of utterly fair assessment. How's that going to be done? There's one little subclause that's important. Joshua, as you said rightly, Brian, there's a whole back history to this. And it's a history of God's grace, because He told Abraham, look, I'm going to give you this land. And eventually you will come out of Egypt and move into the land, but not until what? The iniquity of the Amorite is full. In other words, the entry of Joshua into the land coincided with God's judgment on an extremely wicked society, which believed in child sacrifice and all this kind of thing. And my own sense, I don't feel I've got a complete answer, but I feel if you put all those things into the pot, you're a long way from genocide.
Thank you. That's really helpful.
Well, no, I just wanted to say, John, in your book, Gunning for God, you did a great chapter on this.
Yes, I have a chapter on that, Gunning for God.
And I was going to say as well, some of the ideas you mentioned there obviously have also been spelled out a little bit in Paul Copan's book, He's Got a Moral.
Yes, that's right. Paul's a good book to read.
We had a fascinating, this would be going back about a year and a half or more maybe, on my show, Paul Copan and Greg Boyd, who's had an interesting kind of different way of looking at this in his book, The Crucifixion of the Warring God. They did a great discussion which might help to elucidate some of the differences in their approaches to this as well. So.
Could I follow up with just a little bit of a question tacked on?
Yeah.
I wonder if some people don't ask that question not just because of how hard it is to reconcile those scriptures, which I think you've done a great job explaining how you can, or at least in part how you can, but I think that they raise the question probably because in their mind they're wondering about sort of the